Hey, what is up everybody? Jason here. Today I'm finally doing another update of the Canadian Museum of Nature model that Crystal and I are working on. It has actually been 5 months since the previous update video. If you are unfamiliar with this model, I would recommend checking out that video as I discuss the overall background of this model and the design of it. In this video, I will just talk about the updates that have been made since then. And thankfully over the last few weeks, we have been getting back into it with gusto. So there's quite a bit to talk about. We are actually on a pretty tight timeline for this model now, as we are bringing it to Bricks in the Six, which is a LEGO show happening in Toronto, November 16th and 17th, which is like 10 days from now as of filming this. So there's a lot to do, but I'm pretty confident we can get it to like 99% complete by then. As far as the exterior goes, we have the walls of the wings built up pretty much to the roof line. Here we can see the mostly complete east wall of the east wing. And I'm actually really happy with how the towers turned out, and especially the transition between the towers and the walls. We still need to fill in the details on these panels above the windows, but we'll probably do all of those at once towards the end. And I've also finally started working on the roof, which will mostly just be the studded basic reddish brown plates to give a little bit of texture. There are some other details on the roof which we've started working on, including these doors to the stairwells and these chimney stacks. And this is pretty basic right now. I've just started framing out the basic shape of this, but hopefully as I refine this design, it'll turn into something that looks a little bit better. There are also a bunch of utility and HVAC structures on the roof, which are mostly basically just kind of square rooms. And I've just started framing them out with basic bricks here. And again, hopefully these will be refined a little bit as the design progresses. The center section obviously still has quite a bit of work to do on the building itself. I've recently just been working on getting the wiring all done for the lighting, and it's just much easier to get in here to work on that without the walls being built up, which is why I've been saving that for last. For the Queen's Lantern, the glass cube at the front of the building, if you watched the previous video, you'll know we were considering two options. One, the transparent light blue 1x2x5 bricks, or the same bricks in fully transparent, and we weren't really super happy with either of these options. So I built a third option, which is the trans light blue 1x2x3 brick high panels. And because there's only one single pane of glass on these, well, plastic I guess, they are a lot more transparent than the full bricks. And even though these are technically the same color, they actually look quite a bit different, and I do believe the panels match the color of the real building quite a bit better. I guess the one downside of these is that there are more horizontal lines, since these are only 3 bricks high versus 5 bricks high for the actual bricks. But again, we'll probably reserve judgment until the entire building is complete, and this will be a last-minute decision. Let me know in the comments if you prefer this one as well. For power, everything is running off 5 volts, which is coming in from a USB cable, which comes in from the back underneath and is connected to the right side of this terminal block. And then all of the lighting will come off these connectors here. Right now I only have the east and west wing lighting hooked up. Since the model is modular, I did have to add some connectors for the wiring so that it can easily be taken apart and put back together. And the wiring just runs underneath the wing up to this light strip that is taped along the inside of the walls. And all of the animation will be powered by this single geared motor cube from Circuit Cubes, which also runs off 5 volts. Now, right now I only have a single USB connector powering everything. So once you plug that in, everything will turn on, the motor and the lighting. So in the future, I may try and separate those out a little bit so that you can turn the lighting on independently of the motor, either by adding a switch or something. I actually don't really know yet. And I actually probably won't even worry about that until after the Bricks in the Six show. And if we plug the USB cable in, everything will turn on. In the northeast corner, we have the swimming dolphin, which is pretty much the same as it was in the previous update video. In the southeast corner, we have the swimming shark with some nice red and white coral, which was actually directly inspired by one of the displays in the museum itself. In the northwest corner, we have the flying pterodactyl with some greenery and trees. And in the southwest corner, we have this brontosaurus type dinosaur moving its head through the trees as it's eating the leaves. And for lighting, I'm using these warm white light strips, which gives a nice rich color, I think, to the interior. The galleries themselves are coming along quite nicely. The fossil gallery is pretty much complete. We have all the proper colors for the panel mount of the Edmontosaurus and the Styracosaurus. We also added this sea turtle fossil here as well, and I think it looks kind of nice with all the display stands finally finished up. And on the east wing, the ocean gallery is pretty much complete. We've added all the details on the display cases in the front. For some reason, the back corner is missing right now, which obviously we'll have to put back in. I haven't wired up any of the lighting for the galleries yet. That will happen once the upper galleries are completed. And speaking of the upper galleries, we decided to go with the mammal gallery above the fossil gallery. And Crystal has done all these little scenes, the mountain goats, the antelope, and the bison and the wolf. These are all just kind of loosely prototyped in here right now. We need to finish the flooring and get the display facades all anchored in well before we actually mount it above the fossil gallery. But as far as composition and content, it is pretty much complete. And above the ocean gallery, we're still doing the earth gallery, but we've just kind of started prototyping that, so there's really not much to show for it yet. We are still planning to put the mechanical jellyfish inside the Queen's Lantern, and hopefully I'll get to that really soon. And the last little bit of interior detail is this little hidden Bugs Alive exhibit. Crystal has been prototyping some little creepy crawlies to put in here. And of course, if you've been to the museum, you know they have the big Hercules beetle in there that the kids can sit on. Obviously, we'll probably try and dress this up a little bit nicer on the flooring. And I think that is about all I wanted to talk to you today. Actually, I'm sure I'm missing a couple things, but I do plan to post a full walkthrough video when the model is complete, where I will probably go through all the details in excruciating detail. If you do happen to live in the Greater Toronto area and want to come see this model along with a whole bunch of other cool LEGO creations, be sure to check out Bricks in the Six. I'll add some information in the description. As always, thanks for watching, keep on building, and I will see you in the next one.